I'm so glad you're here listening to the Sustain Your Passion podcast. I'm Genesis, your host and business development expert. If you're ready to make a bigger impact and income while helping others, then you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to help you sustain your passion. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Sustain Your Passion. So if you missed it, last week we had our very first Sustain Your Passion live summit. We had a bunch of presenters and it was so good. If you're interested in getting any of the copies of the recordings, just message me, find me online. I will send them over. And that applies to the one that you're going to hear today on this episode. So here is the audio from my second presentation, all about how to plan your first 100K year. If you want the full video, just message me and I will send that recording your way. Thanks, enjoy.
Yay, okay. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. And I hope you are ready to think about your first 100K year in your business. And we're going to think about this in the most chill way possible. It is all about making a bigger impact and income by actually doing less, which for me, I love efficiency. I love using my best skills when I need them and then outsourcing or simplifying the rest. And that does take some refinement and figuring out like what are you most best at, right? And then optimizing for that. So we're going to do a little bit of work on that with you all today. And we're going to set some goals to get you to your dream business space where you're making at least 100K a year by doing less in your business. So I'm guessing you're here because you're overwhelmed trying to do all the things, right? Like you get lots of ideas, you see what other people are doing, you look back at things you've done and thought, oh, I enjoyed that. Let me do that again. Or, oh, that's a good idea. That person's doing that over there. Maybe I could try it. And especially if you're neurodivergent of the ADHD variety, you know that feeling comes around and that like hyper focused passion kicks in and it's so hard to not follow it. Like I just want to own it is so hard to do what we're about to talk about today. So if you hear me like make it sound easy, please know that like this was a struggle for me too. And I'm going to try and be really open and honest about that today, because it is not the typical narrative we hear about entrepreneurs and business owners to be chill and to be like simplified in things. And for a lot of us neurodivergent folks, that idea actually feels really counterproductive. It feels really constraining and really painful. And like it doesn't work for us because the idea of having to stay like uniformly focused on just one thing that feels limiting, um, it crushes our inspiration, which is typically why we started our business in the first place anyway, because we were inspired to do some type of good work. So I am going to hopefully be able to tell you how I've managed to really keep my offer sheet really simple, simplify the heck out of my business, which resulted in a lot more sales. So if you are feeling overwhelmed or like you're just trying to do too much and you're not quite sure how it's going to be sustainable for you, you're in the right place. And I love like monitoring chat. So if you're going through and you're like, oh my God, yes, I need this, or like, yeah, like any kind of feedback is super helpful for me. So I'm just going to put that out there that any affirmation or feedback you can provide as we go through is a brand new talk for me. So it would be really helpful to hear how things are landing for you as we go through. So the key to fixing this problem while still being able to make a shit ton of money is to slow the fuck down. And I know that is not what we're told to do in our job, right? If you're trying to get a promotion, you have to be doing your current job plus like 50% of the next job you want, and maybe you'll get a promotion, right? We get work tasks put on our plate all the time in organizations that are understaffed and underfunded, under-resourced. And so it's been so deeply ingrained in so many of us that the key to making more money is doing more things. And typically that means trying to go faster, right? And just trying to make sure that everything that could possibly make you money is getting done and that you're leaving no stone unturned. You're looking everywhere. But what happens with that is that you end up getting really confused about what makes you unique what your specific value add is for your ideal client. And honestly, it just confuses you and your audience. So your marketing takes way longer to convert people. So the key to this is slowing down. And so I'm going to show you how we can do that. Now, this is roughly what my old marketing and sales funnel looked like. I was really focused on trying to have it all perfectly planned, and I had a shit ton of funnel steps. So here it's, basically the gist of this is that I had the marketing side of things, so like content engagement, move folks into joining my email list, then thought they would need to join me in Sustain Your Passion, my first coaching program, then the program development bootcamp, which I've renamed, and then this like ongoing coaching offer that I needed to create that was going to be called like sales or business mentorship. And so I had this whole big plan. And about a year and a half ago, like this is what I thought I needed to do. And yet I had never made $100,000 before, like in a year. So 2022 is when I was creating this plan that you're seeing on the screen. So I was trying to do the most and trying to really see how to do every possible thing I wanted to offer. And that was not a healthy strategy. That led to burnout, that led to avoidance, and honestly, just like less sales. So at the end of the day, it clearly wasn't working. And instead, nowadays, my marketing and sales funnel looks like this. It's super simple. It is a framework rather than specific steps. So I always know if I want to move an idea forward in my marketing, I know where it can belong rather than in this situation being like, well, I don't fucking know. Like, how does this fit? It's so messy already. Whereas now it's like, okay, if I want to talk about this topic, for example, I can see that that's going to be for my engagers. So it's going to be all about developing trust. If I put out this talk, I need to be focusing on trust, right? So I can see that the way that people make buying decisions is so much more simple than anyone who sells marketing strategy will want you to know because they think their unique value offer is the fact that marketing is so complicated. I disagree. I don't think it's that complicated. I don't think it has to be. I think you can overcomplicate it, but it's not necessary. And for neurodivergent folks, like for people like me, I don't know what it is specifically, but like that shit does not work. It spread me way too thin and it is unnecessary. So really all you need to have a successful marketing funnel to start making those sales you want consistently is you need to be bringing in strangers to engage with you and then they'll buy from you. And the way that you do that is by being clear about what you do and how you do it everywhere and just talking about all the things you do and how you do it anywhere you show up and being unashamed of it. And that is so much easier when you have one thing to talk about than 20. Me being like, well, I can help people do this, they're not, or this, they're not. And I have one client doing this and one client doing that. Like, that's so confusing. Like, that's the way my brain wanted to work, but it honestly was so stressful. And instead, I get to focus on showing up, being seen, caring about what I care about, and then letting people that are interested move closer to me and developing trusting relationships with them. And then only ever inviting interested leads that I've already qualified into my offers. So I'm not constantly facing rejection, which is another big thing, especially if you're neurodivergent and ADHD. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria makes marketing and sales so fucking hard because you have to be okay with saying no or being told no. But the risk of being told no is so high if you're trying to sell to everyone, everything, all the time. But instead, with this type of a simple model, you're only ever risking rejection for very, very well qualified people. So you can take a little more risk and chances are you're not going to get hurt as often. So there's just oodles of benefits to why this works so well for me as the creator, but also why I think it works really well to result in sales. And I've proved this method is true. So that's why I'm so excited to be sharing this talk with you because these are the results of last year. So I started my business as Genesis Roselong Coaching in 2018. My first year, I made about 15K. I was level there for 2 years, right at about 15K. And then 2020 came, started creeping up, 21, 22, and I crossed the $100,000 in a year mark in 2023. And I can absolutely see what I did wrong from years 1 to 4 and what changed from years 4 to 5. And that's what this talk is all about. So if this sounds interesting, if you're excited, I would love to just hear like in the chat, is making 100K this year from your business sound inspiring to you? Just say simple yes, simple fuck yeah, whatever you want. I love it, Brittany. Yes. Okay, good. So let's dive into why I'm the best person to teach you this. I'm gonna just say it. Like, I think I'm really fucking good at teaching this stuff because I know how to help you grow your business in a way that's well aligned for you. And that is the long and short version of this entire talk, right? Is whatever makes you stressed in your business does not belong. And there is another way. You just haven't found it yet. And that's okay. But beating your head against the wall, trying to do all the things is the problem. And we can fix that. So I have also developed this as an entire business model. So this is my business development framework that I teach in all of my programs. It's all about branding, developing, marketing, and selling so that your business grows. Now, today we are going to zoom in on the development process and not specifically about like what goes in your offers, but rather your business model in general of how I think you could most successfully and simply scale to 100K. Now, I did this with my program called Passion to Paycheck. And looking back, when I first pivoted into offering this type of support, I thought it was so vastly different than what I did before. I was like, I'm a career coach, I'm a business coach, nobody's gonna like follow me, my audience, I'm gonna lose them. I thought it was like a whole brand new thing and was pretty nervous about it and was like, fuck, I have to make so many more things. When really it ended up being a continuation. And all of my work, even this talk right here, right now, like all of my work is always building off of each other. So I don't have to be too worried about like pivoting or shifting things because me and my brain are in all of the offers. But Passion to Paycheck is what I was originally calling like last year at about this time of 2023. I was calling it my mega offer because I basically decided like I'm just going to take everything I love talking to my clients about and everything that they've told me has been so helpful and pull it together into one mega offer and then sell that one thing over and over again. So I'm not constantly thinking about like, well, what should I be marketing now? And when did I sell that last? And do I have enough new leads for that? And all of the fears and worries that get in the way of it. And selling one offer totally works. My clients have proved that it works, both in that I am making a lot of sales, but also in that they're using this model, implementing it, and growing. So I'm going to do a quick overview of what the Passion to Paycheck method is, and then we're going to do some engagement and reflection. So to situate this visual, I want you to start with me down at the bottom left, so where the start here is. So essentially, to get to this place where you have your passion super clear, you have one offer, and it is making your full-time income for you, you need to have clarity on your brand values, identity, and passion. Because if you are building from someone else's brand, if you are thinking you're trying to copy someone else's work, if you aren't doing your own identity development work, you will not sustain your passion. It is just a fact. Like it feels like one of those psychological studies. I could probably go and find like a handful of studies to prove, but I hope you take my word for it after 6 years of this or 5.5, whatever years of this, that if you aren't doing your own thing, it's not gonna be successful. It's just not going to work as well. So that's the first step. And the reason why it's pretty big like that is because it is literally the entire foundation. It's the map. It is the root of your entire business, which is why I position self-love as the first step of most of this work. Because if you don't know yourself, which takes deliberate time, listening and getting to know yourself, it's really hard to make well-informed decisions because you just don't have the data. You just don't know what would be best for you. So first step, get clear on your brand values, identity, and passion. And then you want to create your signature program. And this is where you would have a transformational niche or niche. And essentially, this is where you map out if a new client were to come to you, where would you want to start with them? Right. So on their transformational journey or where your service pops in to help them, where are they? What are they going through? What do they need? And then how do you want to help them? And where do you want to drop them off at? So once you're done helping them on this journey, what will make you feel like, yeah, I helped them so much. Like we got to that end point. Oh, that felt so good. You want to get really clear on the space and the container for transformation that you want to provide to your clients. And again, this is going to build off of your unique brand values, identity, and passion, because it is those factors that make you who you are in business and make you different than other people and make you no one else's competition and makes no one else your competition because you are so unique as an individual and you pull that uniqueness out and put it into your business. There is no possible comparison. So if you get stuck in the RSD place or like the comparison place or the overthinking, you can always lean back on, you know what? I must not be doing enough internal work right now if I'm looking over the fence and monitoring and watching what everyone else is doing. And instead, let me take that energy that I'm putting out on other people's businesses and pour it back into myself, pour it back into my own business, get really clear again. What am I trying to do here? And what is the offer that I'm all about? And then build from there. So once we have that clarity, right? We know what your offer is, we know what you want to do with the people you want to help. From there, we go up this chart. So that's why the arrow points up to asynchronous. Now, I think of this as free content. It might be something you charge like less than $100 for, but personally, I've not yet discovered that that's necessary. I have sold like $7 offers, $11 offers, $49 offers. Like it's never worth it. It's never worth it. It takes the same brain power to simplify an offer and prepare it than it does to create a bigger offer. It's just, it feels easier, but you will, I don't know. I've not experienced getting to $100,000 off of small offers like that. But I will tell you the exact amount that was my average payment from last year, where I made over 108K. And so you can decide which you want to get to. So that free content, though, this is going to be your marketing content. If you've ever heard the term content marketing, it's the idea of giving away your best lessons. And what's going to happen here is on the left, we have that investment line. So the investment from your community is low, right? They're not giving you too much, whether it's some money or no money. They're engaging with you in your free content. And there's probably a lot of people in this group. That's why it's the biggest group of people in that visual on the right. And also, this requires from you, that pink line on the right, the least amount of support. So it's actually a pretty fair trade here, right? They're not paying you for much. You're giving them a lot, but not too much. And it's going to be on your time and it's going to be asynchronous. So you're never, you know, having to be present right with them all the time to get them into your offers. And this is what actually gives you that like time freedom that everybody chases in starting their own business, is figuring out how to do content marketing asynchronously so that it converts to sales. And that, again, is all about getting really clear on what you do and how. So after that first tier of free content with the biggest group of people, then we would move up into your core offer. Now, I recommend folks do this as a group coaching program. It could be a group course. It could also be like a mastermind. You can call it whatever you want, but essentially, a lot of people are going to be in this offer. This is going to be your primary offer. So this for me is passion to paycheck. This is what I will constantly be shaping all of my marketing around, because ideally, most of my income, about 80%, if you've ever heard that golden rule, like 80-20, about 80% of my income will come from my group coaching offer. And then I can have things like a one-on-one as an add-on, which again, we're seeing there's a higher investment for each of these layers on the left. So the price tag is going up, but also my support level for that individual has to go up as well. And so I would not be able to support in the right way that I want to do all of my clients if they were all one-on-one. So having the group container not only gives me the chance to help more people, but it also gives people with different financial capabilities and resources access to me and what I teach. And so I really like this method because I'm focused on what I do best. I'm focused on my passion. I'm focused on doing my self love work. And then I just get to show people what I do for that and do that asynchronously with them. So just show them my life, let them into my world, tell them my thinking, tell them what I'm focusing on, give talks like this, right? And then if they're like, yeah, I like this, I want to know more, then they're invited to group. If they like group and they're like, actually, I want one-on-one time with you, then they're invited into the top level tier of liberationship, which is where you can have, true reflection with one another and closeness that is just beyond what you can offer in a group coaching environment. So I'm going to pause real quick, take a sip of water, see if y'all have any questions about this visual or this idea before we move on and make this a bit more tangible. Okay. All right. So let's get a little more detailed here. So we're here to think about how to make $100,000 in 1 year, right? And from one main offer. Now, this could look like 3 variations, but also a lot of other variations. Yeah, my mail is getting delivered right now. The dogs are saying hi to Nick. We live in a walkable neighborhood, like for our mailman, so he literally comes up to our door. The dog thing. It for them. So sorry about that. Okay, 100K could be cut up a lot of different ways, right? And we could easily make this, $20 offers with crap tons of sales being required. Or we could make it bigger and bigger. So for me, what actually happened last year is I received 98 individual payments from a total of 36 individual clients, totaling $108,000, which doing the math on that means my average payment received was just over $1,100. So if I had an $1,100 offer only, that means I would have needed 98 clients this year. But because I do payment plans, because some of my offers are more expensive than others, it balanced out to 1,100. Now, if you wanted to take that 100K and divide it up by 30 payments, that could be 30 from 30 clients, and that would sit you right at a nice $3,333 offer. That is a beautiful offer and can be so easy to sell, especially for coaching, because that is a very good rate for a lot of coaching that's out there. Now, you could also go bigger, right? Let's say you want to have an even more comprehensive offer. You could get 10 payments from 10 clients for $10,000, and that's your 100K. There are so many ways to receive $100,000 in a year. And I would not have guessed that my average payment would be so small. I assumed that it would have to be way bigger. And I really think that taking payment plans is what shifted this for me. And knowing that $1,000 was like such a fucking gift to let someone into my offers for. And so it's like you need to figure out what your floor number is for your group offer, but then also, have some higher ticket if you want, but it's all the same one transformation, right? It's all the same one offer. It's just how much access they get to you, which then means how much deeper they can go and how much faster they can go. And you can leave that part up to them. But if you center yourself on exactly what you want to become the expert in your niche, and then stack it so that you've got a couple different offers all within the same transformation, there is no reason you could not make $100,000 this year. And I was in the same place as you 1 year ago, being like, I want to make $100,000 this year. I don't know if I will be able to, but I'm going to try my damn and try. And so this is how we're going to do it. Okay. Now, if you're ready to get started, I would love for you to pull out a pen and paper or pull up a Google Doc, whatever you need. I'd like to do some reflection with you. And then we're going to shift and set some goals for the rest of the year. So if you can let me know in the chat when you are ready, that'd be super helpful. So like a ready or yes or let's go. Go ahead and put that in the chat for me. Awesome. Thank you, Brittany. Cool. Tiffany's ready. Rachel's ready. Cool. Okay. Looks good. Okay. So what we're going to do first is get clear on how many different offers and services do you currently have that you market or that you consider when someone comes to you and says, hey, can I work with you? If you have multiple offers that you're considering every time someone comes to you with their questions, you are making the sales process harder on yourself because you are making yourself overanalyze how to help them. Because chances are your one offer could include enough support for a variety of things, but because you parsed them out into different offers, you're actually slowing down your sales process. So first, I want you to just sit and think about it. How many offers or services do you currently have and market? And if you are brand new, that's okay. If you are planning multiple different offers and services, I want you to take a minute and just count up all of those offers, all those services, whatever you're thinking you might do, and just come up with that number and then put that number in the chat once you've got your clarity on how many offers you have. 2 for now. Nice. Great. One that will develop into a larger one. Sweet. Love it. And what about ideas for other ones? Do you feel the pull to be creating other things, or do you feel pretty solid, like, no, I know this is the right thing to keep working on? Or do you feel that, ooh, what about that? Or, ooh, maybe this. That would be helpful to know more too. 2, technically 3, only available to those preferences. Nice. Okay, so you're only marketing the 2. So Rachel, are we not counting your courses? Oh yeah, 3. Okay. Okay. So I love you help me narrow down. Yay, good. Okay. So essentially, the thing we're trying to do here is something you can do every time you're starting to feel overwhelmed in your business. Just stop and slow down and say, what all am I trying to do here? That's the first question, right? And then analyze what sparked all of those ideas. Because I mean, I'm just gonna own it. Like, I definitely created a whole cover letter course thing because I saw Jenna Kutcher create a, it wasn't even cover letters, it was like Instagram something course. And I was like, oh, I should have a course. And then I created it. But I didn't ever like selling that. But it felt exciting at the time, but it wasn't totally well thought out. So look at all your offers and ask yourself why. What sparked that idea? And essentially, it will boil down to you being clear on if it was one of two things, internal or external motivation. Was it that you were really excited and you were like, oh, I want to do this because a client asked me for it and I feel inspired? Was it that you were sitting around thinking, I want to talk to someone about this topic? Let me go create a container for that topic? Or was it something else? So either tell me one, it's all intrinsically motivated, or two, external. Okay, Brittany says both, which was part of the narrowing down. Brittany, 1 and 2. Okay, fair. Fair enough. Yep. So basically, that's gonna happen, right? That's why we have step 3, which is checking in. Are you still inspired by them all? Like, if somebody found that sales page and bought it, would you be like, maybe I get to do that work now? Or would you be like, oh, fuck, I gotta go do that work now? Like, I don't even know if it's ready. Like, oh, I don't want to really do that. Or would you be so excited and get your head out of the, well, it's money, so I want money place, but get back into the joy and pleasure and purpose behind why you started your business and ask yourself, are you still feeling inspired by them? And I'd love to see some feedback in the chat of what you're finding as we are going through this analysis together. And if you prefer to come off mute, you can do that too. Ooh, Brittany, I think you're gonna like what we do next. Okay. Mm-hmm. Rachel says, clearly haven't been marketing those at all your courses. Yeah. Bree says, I'm only marketing one course currently, but it combines all of the elements of my field. Beautiful. I love that. So inspired, but lack the confidence. Okay. Nissa, yes. I'd love to hear more about that. If you want to share, like, lack the confidence for what? What do you think? What do you need confidence in? Brittany, yeah, it's coming. Okay. So I'm going to keep talking through this analysis process, and hopefully y'all are still with me. So after you look at all your offers, you consider your motivator behind it, and then you ask yourself, does it still feel inspiring? The next step is killing your darlings. And this is a phrase that comes from like writing. You create characters and you fall in love with them and then you write about them, but sometimes they are the direct thing that's ruining your ability to write your books. You have to kill your darlings, is, you know, where I've heard it from. And as a creative, when you create a thing, it is a part of you. And the idea of that thing being hurt or not being successful, it's not fun. It can be really depressing and deflating. You're like, I was once so inspired. What happened to that passion? I don't know, right? Or there's another way to look at it. The other way is, okay, these are distractions. These are taking my creative capabilities and pulling me too thin. So I'm actually not getting what I want out of any of them. Because you are a creative entrepreneur, which I'm guessing you are if you're still here, chances are you deeply, deeply care about the work you do. You care about the impact you have on other people. You are a conscientious human. You look both ways before you cross the street. Like, you're the person who pulls over and stop, like, helps the car that's broken down. Like, you care a lot about the impact you're creating with your work. But if you are letting those uninspired goals from past you keep you shackled to the past, it's time to cut those strings. It's time to kill those darlings. And even though at one point you thought that was the perfect thing for you, like, I genuinely believe that Sustain Your Passion, my career coaching program, would be the thing that I would sell forever. And it was a couple years in that I realized, like, I can't sell this anymore. I don't know why, but I just have no interest in selling this anymore. And it was because there was something else that I wanted to do more, but I couldn't see it yet because I was still clinging on to my past. So, killing your darlings is literally seeing that list in front of you. And the first thing that comes to mind when I ask you, what can you let go? That's the one. That's the thing. That's probably the thing you need to stop doing. And you need to figure out how to grieve it, how to process the fact that you're not doing that anymore, and find what your reason was for wanting to do it in the first place. And then, step 5, sync that motivator up with all the other offers you have. And I genuinely mean, like, whether it was the 3 offers, the 2 offers, all of it, like, you could combine them. There is likely a way for you to combine them because you created both of them. And so there's gotta be something in your values, your identity, or your purpose that transcends both offers. You didn't change that much since your last time you created an offer. Like, you changed a lot, but like not that much, right? That we couldn't find some common thing and that we could sync up and reignite your passion for if we could get you clear on what really needs to stay and what really needs to go. So let me check this. Is it ironic that your current course seems more sustainable and I still have SYP forever? Yeah, totally. It's so ironic. I learned this was a hard lesson. Yes, I definitely did not know this when I got there and fell in love with that one offer and made it my everything. And then didn't know how to grieve that it was no longer my everything and that was okay and I could evolve again. And that is what stagnated my business. That is what kept me from actually reaching my biggest income and impact goals because I was forcing myself into a past version of myself, which sucks. Like nobody wants to do that, right? That is like the antithesis of growth and development. That's the antithesis of being a human. So I think it's super important. um, Brittany says, when you started the new one, I was like, no, I love senior passion. And then I texted you one day. Yep. And then you joined that program too. I love that so much. Yes, you could be a coach. I love that. Okay, so this current offer analysis is something you can do all the time. And while this is specifically for like the high level of all your offers, you could adapt this into any offer you're designing and really get clear on where did this motivator come from? Am I still inspired by it? What can I kill off that doesn't need to be here? And then thinking it into your other offer suite. So I would encourage you to take a screenshot of this. I'll probably send out the slides, but like this is a really good activity to just have in your back pocket for any time you're starting to feel like that scatterbrained. And this can also be true of like creating content. If you have too many ideas of what type of content you want to make, walk through the same process and you will find more focus and clarity on what you feel inspired to work on. And chances are that clarity will get you started again creating. So in the goal of time, I'm going to move to our next activity. So we are going to talk about dream goals. Now, if you've been through Sustain Your Passion, you might remember these, but we are going to do these for your business and for your first $100,000 year. So dream goals are my version of SMART goals. I think it's better. I always hated SMART goals. I just think that they were, I don't know, there was something missing. And so I developed this framework instead. So what we're going to do is now on your paper or, on your document, we're going to walk through setting your 100K year business goals through this framework. So let me know that you are ready in the chat. Let's do your favorite color. Tell me your favorite color. Rachel says ready, ready. Blue. Nice. Sweet. Purple, purple. Oh, we have purple people. Okay, cool. Love it. Tiffany says black. Brittany says black. Love it. Okay. Very cool. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is take a moment and consider the end of 2024. So we're talking about the destination, right? We have a very clear time-bound goal here. We're trying to make 100K in a year. So that gives us a really clear destination to start viewing and moving towards. So what I want you to do is for about a minute or two, I want you to journal on what your life will feel like and what you will be doing and basically all the outcomes, right? Everything you're assuming about why you want to make 100K, about that. That's our first step. That's the D for dream goals. It's the destination. So where are we trying to go? So I'm gonna just pause for a minute, give you all a minute. When you're done writing as much as you can think about, clarify your destination or where you want to get to in your business by the end of the year, go ahead and put in the chat an emoji you like, and then I'll talk you through the next step. So go ahead and get started on what you want life to feel like, look like, etc. at the end of this year after having made 100K. I was just sitting here thinking, I'm going to do this activity for myself because I keep thinking the number 250K and I just don't know where the fuck it's coming from, but apparently I want to plan for that. So I'm going to have to do this activity later with my own version of this. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes, so feel free to keep journaling. Think about what you're doing with your time, how you feel, what you think will be like. And just get really clear on where you want to go. Awesome. Brittany's ready. Beep boop. Here we go. Feel. Ooh, Rachel. Cool emoji. I like it. Yes. Rachel's ready. Awesome. Aw, puppy. That's cute. Oh, sloth. You too. Oh my gosh, Brittany, you don't know how, or Tiffany, you don't know how cool that was to Brittany right now. You too. Yes, that's so awesome. Okay, I love that. Okay, so the next step here, right? And you can use this framework for every goal you ever want to write. Um, but for today's purposes, right, the 100K plan. So now that we know where we're headed, let's get clear on where we are because there's probably a pretty big gap between where we want to go in our dreams and where we are right now. And that's okay, but we need to know so that we can set realistic expectations for ourselves and appropriate actions and actually sustain ourselves through to that destination. So now what I'd like you to do is you've got your destination clarified, but I want you to get clear on every piece that you just wrote about. What is your current state? So if you said, I wake up feeling happy and inspired, what's your current state? Are you waking up depressed and bummed out? If you said you want to make 100K from your coaching business, are you making $0 right now? What is the situation actually like? Let's get clear on reality here right now and accept that the gap exists and bring it to our consciousness so we can work with it. So take a couple minutes, and basically what you're going to do is just look at everything you wrote for your destination and line by line, piece by piece, clarify what's true now in regard to that after state. And then when you're done, let me know your favorite holiday in the chat. It'd be fun. I'll give you another 2 or 3 minutes. Jordan, does that mean you're done with step 2 as well? Nice. Cool. Awesome. Oh my gosh, I love that. I never think of your birth like my birthday as a holiday. Fuck yeah, it is. I celebrate it like it's a holiday. Oh, I love that, Rachel. So cool. Thanksgiving. Love that. Halloween. Yes. April Fools. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to keep my eye on you this April. I'm sure you're not pulling any jokes on us. Okay, so it looks like we're about there. So now the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to look at our hopes and our fears related to this gap. So we're here in January, right? And we're theoretically planning 12 months of life because let's say we want to take 12 months to make your 100K. Now, there's a lot of shit that's going to happen in these 12 months, right? We just identified potentially a very large gap, potentially a very small gap. If you were making like 70K last year and you're moving to 100K, that might be, a smaller gap for you. If it's 0 to 100K, you might have a bigger gap. But the gap exists, right? And not talking about it doesn't help you. So instead, now what we're going to do is let's get really clear on all of the movement that you just identified, right? From where you are and where you want to go. There will be fears, there will be hope, but we need to know it. So what you're going to do now is take every piece of this work that you've done so far. So every piece of your destination and every piece of your reality. And consider now what hope or what fear comes up when you imagine doing that work. So whether it's, making more sales or feeling better in the morning or feeling more connected with your partner or whatever, how does it make you feel? You feel hopeful about it? You scared? I want you to write down all of that. Every little and know that nobody's gonna see it. So it's okay. This is for you. You're not gonna be asked to share it anywhere. But those beliefs and fears and hopes are in you and they're driving your decision all the time. That's just how brains work. And so pulling them out means that we can decide if they're helpful or hurtful. So what I'd like you to do is just take a couple minutes and then let me know that you have thoroughly looked at your hopes and fears and documented them. Please tell me in the chat one word from your reflection that you would like me to know. I'll give you a couple minutes on this one. If you have any questions as we're going through also, please let me know. Also, Brittany, what is tricky food? I'm talking to my therapist. Love that. We love a good therapist. Yes. Awesome. Like cat litter box cake. Oh, gross. Like salt instead of sugar and cookies or something like that. Okay. Wait. Why would it be delicious?
I'm coming off mute for this. I want to send you a video of how to make the cat litter box cake, and you will see why it is delicious. I'll post it in the group.
They're also going to need to know what the fuck are you talking about? Oh, that's funny. It does sound tricky, so that's a good description. Okay, you're so good. You're being so vulnerable. Thank you all. It makes sense when you're doing big, scary things and working towards your most courageous goals, you're gonna have some shitty feelings. Like none of you told me a hope. Do you see that, right? Like none of these are like what I would call positive affects. These are going to be the fear side, the fear of failing, the unworthiness, the disappointing, the mistake. Like that will happen. And I can tell you this year, I felt all of those things so much. I would make $9,000 in a month when I wanted to make 10. And I just feel like it wasn't good enough, right? I know those feelings so deeply, and it is so possible for you to work through them. And here's how. So now the next step is we're going to get clear on your actions. So now looking at all the work in front of you, right? You just mapped out your path to 100K a year, from where you are to where you want to go, how it's going to feel. But now let's get back into our logical brain and let's find out what do we do to combat each and every one of those expectations around hopes or fears that you have, or amplify the joy in it if you were able to identify hopes and excitement, and figure out what strategy will work for you, because the biggest barrier you're going to face on your way to 100K a year is your own fucking brain. It is your own thoughts, it's your own feelings, it's your own meaning making. And we just pulled out all of them. So you already know them, right? At its root, every one of your fears will come back to you, whatever you just found out today, because you are doing the process of meta planning your experience. And it can always come back to this fear. So I want you to look at all of this work and ask yourself, what action or what strategy do I need to put in place to navigate these realities as I move from where I am to where I want to go. Now, this could be reminding yourself of certain beliefs or mantras. This could be finding a mentor. This could be finding a community. This could be reading books. This could be all sorts of things, right? Whatever comes up for you, you create your strategy. So take a few minutes, start coming up with an action plan related to each of these hopes, fears, and transition paths that you identified. And then let me know in the chat when you're ready. Your favorite current TV show? That would be cool to know. And don't just tell me, do the work. Because I want to know. I'm watching You right now, you guys. I love it. The Bear, I've heard about that. I should probably watch that. It's on Hulu, yeah? Oh, okay. Sweet. Thank you. The tip. Tiffany, are you a pen and paper writer or are you a Google Docs writer when you do activities like this? I feel like I know, but I want to confirm. Yeah, that's what I thought. I love it. So focused. I like it. So present, you know? I also like the wordiness of documents sometimes too, but I can see that for you, you know? I get that. Grimm. Oh, I think you told me about that one. No, somebody else told me about that. It's the stories of a famous author, right? Like Grimm's fairy tales. Movies or YouTube. Nice. And if I'd love to know a movie you watched recently. Where do you watch it? Is that on the streaming? Cool. Nope. Nice. I went to Barbie that weekend, and I have not seen Oppenheimer. Okay, I think that's most of us, maybe a couple more folks. So now that you've got your strategy started, I want to move us to the last step here for time's sake. So we don't want to leave this process with the overwhelm, right? Of, oh my God, look at all this I have to do. Oh my gosh, it's so hard, right? Like a lot of people do that. They think, this is where I am, this is where I want to go, this is all the shit I have to do, and then they don't get started. So what we're going to do instead is we're actually going to do some meaning making about why this goal matters at all to boost your inspiration again, because you have the what you need to do, but now we need the motivator and the energy to go do it. So let's go back to your destination and ask yourself, why do I want this? And see what answer comes up. Just like, why does this matter to me? And then once that answer is present, go ahead and put it in the chat, and then I'll tell you what to do next. Why does your destination matter? Why do you want to get there? What is the real reason behind it? Is it for your family? Is it for your kids? Is it for your own well-being? Is it because it staves off your depression? Is it financial stability? Pick one. Nice. Great. Awesome. Yep. Feeling of success. Taking care of your well-being. Because the work is important. Absolutely. I love all that. So then what we're going to do is ask, and why do I care about that? So you're going to take each of your pieces that you just came up with, right? So each of you are going to take your item and ask, and why does that matter to me? Or why do I care about that? So Brittany, why does your well-being matter? Tiffany, Why is it important that women know this? Why is that important to you that you know that it's important? Anissa, why is success important to you? Why does that matter? And then once you hear that answer, go ahead and put that in the chat. Oh, so cool. I love that, Brittany. Thank you for sharing that this was the exercise that told you on sustain your passion. Awesome. Now I'm gonna ask you to put it in the chat, but if it is personal, if it feels difficult, you don't have to. That's okay. That's okay, Anissa. It's actually really fucking awesome that you know that success fuels your sense of self-worth, because that means that you can work on that and get your well-being taken care of. I don't think it's bad at all. I think clarity on what makes you as a human feel better should have no morality. And Brittany has some more positive answers. That's amazing. Awesome. Tiffany says self-love changes everything. Absolutely. Rachel, because I know this is my purpose. Ooh, I like that. Very cool. Now we're going to go a layer deeper. Why does fulfilling that matter to you? So again, what does it do for you to live in your purpose, to live with the knowledge that self-love changes everything? Why does it matter that you feel worthy? What does that do for you? And he says it's important because I need to be well to help others, and helping others makes me feel better. One big beautiful cycle. Absolutely. Yep. The cool part about humaning, right? We're all in it together. Okay, for time's sake, I'm going to let you keep answering as I move forward. But I want you to know that you can borrow this goal process anytime you need to recommit to a goal in any area of your life. The first time I did it, it was for career goals, financial goals, and lifestyle goals. I've adapted it to business goals now and relationship goals and all sorts of things. So you now have this method that you can use anytime. And if you are not sure if you've done enough meaning making of, digging, typically 3 to 5 is enough. Some people say 7 whys is like the ultimate root analysis, but I think eventually you hit a wall around 3 to 5. But the way that you'll know you've done enough, how you'll know you've dug deep enough, is you will feel it in your soul, like in somewhere in your body will light up, and it will be like a fiery energy that's like, passion is there. Like, I have to do this. It's going to be clear your why. Like, you will know. You will have like your body will feel it. So listen for that in your body, feel for that in your body. And then once you get that release, then you know you've done enough work and you're good to go. So, y'all, we just planned your first 100K year in the most important ways. And all the logistics of offers and dollar amounts really doesn't fucking matter, because as I showed you at the beginning, they all add up to 100K. As long as you have clarity and focus on what you're doing and why, you can get there. And if you want to know all the intricate details of how I recommend you build a brand and an offer suite and a marketing funnel and how to navigate your sales, I have more trainings on that, and they're available on my website. You can go watch them for free. But this was really about strategizing your 100K year and helping you get inspired and motivated to get to work and make it happen, because we are already halfway through January. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here with me and for letting me guide you in this way and for participating with me and for doing your own work, because my mission is to help sustain my own passion for my life. I know that when I don't feel inspired and energized to learn new things and connect with new people, I shrink into a shell of myself, and that's not good for me. And so in order to literally want to continue growing and living, I need to be helping others, and that's okay. That is totally okay. I know that Western culture makes it sound like that's always bad. I don't think it is. And it's totally okay to care about other people and want to do good in their lives, and for that to be a reason for you to get out of bed in the morning. In fact, I think that's a really beautiful reason to do your work. And so for me, ending on meaning making is so important, because now I bet you want to go figure out all that hard shit. I bet you want to navigate those scary feelings, those unworthiness feelings, because you know why you're doing it in such a deep way. So if you're curious about potentially working together on these actions, if one of your action tasks that you identified was joining a community with a mentor that you value learning with and you enjoyed this, please connect with me. Go to genesisrose.com/connect. It's a free call, no expectations, literally just want to hear about you, what your dreams and your passions, because that is literally what makes me want to get out of bed in the morning. So thank you again for your time and energy, your presence in this space. And I hope that you are able to participate with some of the folks that are here in this room in their sessions. This week, we have a variety of different topics going all week long. They're all available live or will be sent out so you can watch them asynchronously. Do not let time keep you from learning and engaging in this space, please. So if you're interested, you can head to genesisrose.com/summit and sign up for just one time, and you get access to all of the training.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Sustain Your Passion podcast. If this episode helped you gain a bit more clarity, courage, or confidence, please share it with your friends on social media or in a text. It would mean the world to me. Thanks in advance for sharing this episode. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.